Remember the Ontario Science Table? That group that was always saying we gotta shut everything down, more and more closures, shut more things down. Well, that group still exists, believe it or not, and they have actually put out a new report on how physical fitness declined during the pandemic and how that is a bad thing. Wow. And I'm going to read to you from the report because, it's always good to quote from experts. So they say in this report, patterns of declining rates of physical activity worsened during the COVID-19 pandemic as Ontarians, other Canadians were significantly less active and even more sedentary. Studies have associated these rapid declines with pandemic-related measures, including closures of schools and recreation. They then go on to say that global data indicates that participation in physical activity has been associated with improved quality of life, well-being, and reduced depressive symptoms and anxiety during the pandemic. I'm so glad we kept those experts around to tell us that. And I'm kind of wondering, maybe they're actually a little slower to the take than the rest of us. Because I think maybe there were a few people who a year ago were saying, you know what, okay, you're closing this or that down. You really want to close down those gyms. Why are you so desperate about closing down the gyms? Because I remember a number of doctors in hospitals and ICUs who are treating COVID patients, they said that they don't really have anybody in hospital for COVID who isn't suffering from one or more metabolic issues, and that those metabolic issues are vastly improved by better eating and better physical health. So, it's kind of a good thing to engage in physical fitness and activity. Maybe you really want to be encouraging that more than you were. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm reading this report, you're kind of at your wit's end. You're like, guys, really? Like, please, just ghost away. Just go away. Like, why are you saying this? Big lockdown boosters, shut it all down. Oh, maybe it wasn't so good that we shut this down. Now, they're not actually saying they regret advocating for the fitness center shutdowns. And I will say, I noticed that the names who are the signatories, the authors of this report, are actually, it doesn't include any of the, shall I say, most toxic individuals who were out and about on the media, members of the Science Table who were so aggressively pushing for these sorts of lockdowns, pushing for everything to be closed down. So maybe, I know there is a bit of a new crop of people involved. Maybe they're trying to take a look at issues from a different perspective, shall we say, about some of the more harms of pandemic measures. There's actually been a couple reports about that. They talked about the challenges of kids facing so much screen time during the lockdown. So I'm glad they acknowledge that there were some negatives to all of these things that they pushed upon Ontarians quite aggressively.